One of the points of Philadelphia was not just to win Pennsylvania, but the president seemed intent on trying to push up black voter turnout. Who does he have to convince to raise black voter turnout?
When you think about, Lawrence, the record numbers of folks who showed up for President Obama in 2008 and 2012, a big chunk of that was voters that had never really engaged with the political process before. Many of them were African American and many of them were black men. And now that we're in the waning days of the 2020 election season, the Democratic Party has to reach those black men who felt so connected and so much hope in President Obama's message. Because since then, many of those folks never showed up in 2016. And so as we get closer to the election, you have to have people like President Obama out there ginning up that support and reminding people that there is, great hope and optimism that things will change even when things go slowly. But it was amazing to see President Obama connect with those men in that room. A far cry from where we are today in terms of the messaging about race and about black men, especially in this, summer of uprising and reckoning. But they have to get those brothers who felt connected but now fell off.
You've written about black men, at least one, and recently, who's actually inclined to vote for Donald Trump.
That's right. What's amazing is when we think about black women and their support for the Democratic Party, in 2016, there was about 97% of black women voted for Hillary Clinton. Just about 84% of black men voted for Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump actually got 13% of the vote in terms of black men. And this man I talked to named Sean Shoemake, he said he's felt left out by the Democratic Party by centering black women, who certainly are the backbone of the Democratic Party, by elevating LGBTQ issues and only speaking to black men in terms of pathology, never centering their concerns as breadwinners, as providers, as men in the community. And so men like Sean Shoemake, some of them are a little contrarian, some of them have kind of drank the MAGA 101 Kool-Aid, but the messaging from President Trump and that bravado, right, even a false sense of machismo, many men, black men, seem to gravitate towards that. The anti-immigrant sentiment. When you think about communities, in black communities where the unemployment rate is typically twice that of white folks, white men especially, in some communities, it's actually double or triple that number, right? So some of that messaging, some of that racist messaging actually plays into them as opposed to repelling them.
He talked about the record voter turnout that he got from black voters in the 60%. It was 65 and 66 in both of his. And then he said, when people say voting doesn't make a difference, we've never tried what it would look like if it was 80% voting or 90% voting. And there he was directly pitching to the black community, we need more votes out of the black community.
In one sense, it's like, how much more do you need? You have the most loyal voting bloc. We don't hold that standard to any other group in America. But there are also many people in the community, and the Republicans have said that, have seeded the ground with this messaging, that in places like Miami and Philadelphia and Detroit, not much changes. And so if you are in an impoverished community, disinvested in community, it's hard to prove the point that things actually can change. But his message is clear that you actually can change things. Now, things won't change overnight, but if you participate, if you maximize your efforts in the community, things will change. And as we know, so much of politics is local. Local leadership matters. Your state legislators matter. Sometimes when it gets up to the president, folks are a little disconnected. But to engage communities that have been left behind, or at least they feel they've been left behind, there are votes on the table. There are people on the table. And, folks are hoping to see some change this time.